Hello and welcome to the All Things Arsenal podcast, where we're talking about all things Arsenal. Today on the podcast, we'll be talking about yesterday's absolutely shocking result against Brentford. I say shocking, do you know what? I actually wasn't even shocked. It was a dreadful performance. And you know the old expression, if you fail to plan to fail. And that's exactly what I talked about in the last one, where I mentioned that we were about 4 or 5 signings short at least for this season, and that really did show yesterday in our game against Brentford. The first thing I want to say is that fair play to Brentford. They played really well. The fans were right behind them, and you've got a manager there at Brentford who plays to the players' strengths. And the whole game long, they bullied us, they bullied our defence, they took their chances, and Brentford played really, really well, and they're a good addition to the Premier League. But now I want to talk about Arsenal and the spineless performance that they put in yesterday. There was 5 minutes added on at the end of the game in stoppage time, and I thought to myself, they could literally add another 20 minutes onto this game. We still won't score. We were so toothless. We were clueless in defence. And we were just absolutely just done over by Brentford. And there's a lot of reasons for the result yesterday. The team didn't play well. The manager I've backed him for the duration of his reign at the club. But I'm really, really starting to question whether he's the man to take us forward now. You know, a lot of people might say, oh yeah, we're only 1 game into the new season. But this isn't 1 game. This is the whole of last season as well. He's had the whole summer with his transfer negotiators, the board, to sort out a team that's able to get us back into Europe for this season. We've come to the first game unprepared, and we've been battered, really. I know it was 2-0, but really that game last night could have been 4 or 5-0 easily. And I'm just really fed up. And the thing as well is I just don't see it getting any better. The next 2 games we've got Chelsea, Manchester City. I mean, we could easily lose both those games as well. And then that would be 3 losses out of 3 to start our new season. At the moment, I just don't really see a plan. It's like I was watching the game last night with my wife, and I was like, we're playing at the moment, and we've got no plan B. And she turned around to me and she said, there's no plan A. And she's right, that there is no plan at all. I don't see what Arteta's trying to do with this team. The players that we've got, I mean, I know I've mentioned about being 4 or 5 players short and we do need more transfers, but they're not bad players. You know, you've got some good players in there. I mean, Martinelli, Saka, Tierney, there's some good players in that team who should be more than capable of beating a team like Brentford, with all due respect. But I just don't see what our style of play is. You know, we're playing football games. Football games are coming and going. We're losing games the same way. And I just don't see a plan. I don't see a style. I just don't see anything from this team or the manager. At the moment, I'm looking at the players. And like I said, we've got some decent players in the team. And players that will hopefully get better. But I'm looking towards the manager now and I'm thinking, I've said before in my other podcasts, give until Christmas and see where we are. But now I'm even thinking to myself, do we even give him until Christmas if this carries on? I'm not too sure. We've lost to Brentford 2-0. We've got Chelsea at home next. Then we've got Man City away. We've got the Carabao Cup as well with West Brom. If we lose both those games to Chelsea and Man City, which is very possible, and if we get knocked out of the Carabao Cup by West Brom, I'd be very tempted to sack him during the international break. which I didn't think I'd be saying this early. And honestly, I wasn't even Arteta out last season. But I thought to myself, give him the summer, see what he does in the summer, let him build a team, let him build a style of play, and see where we are. In the pre-season, I watched us, and we had a really bad pre-season, but I just kept telling myself, it's just pre-season, we're going to be okay, trying to be optimistic about the season ahead. And then last night comes, and bang, we lose the game, and it's like, I was really looking forward to the Premier League season starting again. I was really looking forward to last night. And then whilst I was watching that game, all the emotions from last season just came back to me, and I thought, why was I looking forward to this? And I don't really know where we go from here. The only thing I can really think of is sacking Arteta. I think that's the only way. We can still get some new players, but we need some direction, because at the minute we're just going along, not going anywhere. If anything, we're getting worse. We've dropped down from a top 4 side to a top 6 side to a top 8 side, and it looks like we're going to drop even lower than that this season, with teams around us improving. We could be bottom half of the Premier League this season if this carries on. So I think Arteta, he needs to do something in the next couple of games. Otherwise, for me, if it was me, I would be sacking him. And the other thing as well, I listen to TalkSport quite a lot, and I was listening to Adrian Durham. Well, I don't think actually it was on TalkSport. I think he might have tweeted it. And he's not someone that I usually agree with. But he said during the course of last season, if Arteta was at Chelsea and was, getting the same results at Chelsea, he would have been sacked about 6 times by now. And he's right. It's, any other club would have sacked Arteta by now. They would have been like, this is not good enough. And we need to change of direction. So why are we persisting with Arteta? I don't really get it. So it's so frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And don't get me wrong, I really want Arteta to succeed. I want him to do well. And I hope that he wins the next 2 games and comes out fighting. And hopefully he will get a bit more time and have a good season with us. But at the same time, the football club has to come first. And I just don't want another season of nothing. We had that last season. We had a nothing season last season. I don't want another nothing season again. It's like people were saying, oh yeah, but we're in transition. But how long does a transition period last? A season, okay, understandable. But what, 2 or 3 seasons? I mean, we're a massive football club. We should not be having this long a transitional period. We should be maybe having 1 season where we rebuild. Next season we go again. We try and get back into Europe. It's just not good enough. It's not just Arteta, it is the board as well. The board, once again, haven't backed him. The negotiators around him haven't recruited enough players to fill the gaps that we've got in our squad. And just all around the club is an absolute mess, an absolute shambles, and I don't know how long as fans we're going to have to put up with this. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm hoping that all these podcasts won't be as miserable as this one. If you did like this podcast, please subscribe, and please comment. And our next game will be against Chelsea. Hopefully we'll put in a better performance in that game than what we did last night. And come on, Arsenal, let's do something different.